The deal on the debt ceiling has been agreed on by President Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Now it's up to the House and Senate to pass the legislation before June 5th. WENY Washington correspondent Rachel Knapp joins us live from the U.S. Capitol this evening. Now, Rachel, this agreement was finalized over the weekend. What can you tell us about it?
Good evening, Renata. Well, Washington is breathing a little easier now that the president and the speaker have come to an agreement. And in this 99 pages of text in the legislation, both sides see this as a win.
We've got good news.
After long days of negotiations between President Joe Biden and Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, the two have reached an agreement on the debt ceiling.
We're ready to move to the full Congress.
They agreed to keep a 2-year suspension of the debt ceiling, which caps the total amount of money the government is allowed to borrow. The suspension will hold off this next fight about the nation's debt until 2025, which is after the next presidential election. For non-defense spending, it would essentially remain the same except for a 1% increase between FY 2024 and 2025 after certain adjustments to the appropriations were made, including rescinding $30 billion in unobligated COVID relief funding and shifting $20 billion in IRS funding to other non-defense areas. One of the biggest changes involves expanding work requirements for certain adults getting food stamps. The legislation would impose new work requirements for food stamps on adults ages 50 to 54 who don't have kids living in their home. Currently, the work requirements only apply to people ages 18 to 49. The age limit will be phased in over 3 years, but the bill would exempt veterans, homeless people, and people who were children in foster care from food stamp work requirements. In all, both sides are calling it a win.
No one thought at any given day that we would be where we are today. The president said he wouldn't negotiate with us for 97 days. He wouldn't even allow us to talk. After we passed the bill, we were able to get in. But it wasn't until the final 2 weeks that would we really be able to sit down and communicate with one another. At the end of the day, people can look together to be able to pass this in the House and the Senate together to sign it and send it to the president.
Tomorrow, a House committee will debate this legislation, and then on Wednesday, we do expect the House to vote on it. So until then, party leaders are going to be trying to gather enough yes and support votes for this legislation so that it can get moved through Congress and onto the president's desk before the June 5th deadline. Renata, back to you.